Hi, I'm Tiffany Domina. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my website is howtoentrepreneur.org, and my mission is to help you grow a business from idea to enterprise. So if you or someone you know wants to start or grow a business, stop by howtoentrepreneur.org. I have a free course there that's meant to help you grow a business from idea to enterprise. Today I want to talk to you about Lisa Nichols and what she learned that took her from broke to multi-millionaire. With Mother's Day right around the corner, today is the 10th and Mother's Day will be this weekend. It's so important to study and understand moms who made entrepreneurship work. And I thought Lisa Nichols is the perfect example to leave off this week and to go into the weekend and celebrate Mother's Day. So I want to talk to you about what she did and what she learned that took her from broke, single mom, distraught, to multi-millionaire. So sometimes you get into a slump. You may not even know or understand where the slump came from, but it could shake you from the core of your being. Some triggers might be easy to spot, and others are subliminal, like someone's negative body language, a past experience, something someone said about you, a toxic relationship, or dissatisfaction with where you are. Before you know it, you could be questioning yourself, wondering, am I good enough? Can I be successful? Or am I worthy of the life of my dreams? You may have seen yourself in the likes of very inspirational people at one point, but something happened and it hit you deeply, even shattering your esteem. Rather than moping and sliding deeper and deeper into depression or a sense of unworthiness, sometimes it's helpful to hear the stories of other overcomers or quotes from people who have been through a low like you're in. You don't want to spend too much time around people who aren't out or can't help you get out. Instead, it's good to find an overcomer like Lisa Nichols. So I want to tell you a little about her story and how she found her own worth. So as a single mom with $12 in her bank account and a baby wrapped in a towel instead of a diaper, Lisa had hit rock bottom. She struggled on public assistance, trying to care for herself and her son. Then she had a shift. She learned how to set boundaries in relationships, how to treat herself, and how her confidence affected the way others treated her, how to prioritize her time, how to build a business around her passion, how to collaborate with others and leverage relationships in a positive way, how to save money as a discipline, how to remove bad habits, how to commit and forgive herself for her mistakes, how to invest in her dream. She mailed a check to herself every day that said, "Investing in my dream," for 3.5 years. How to live below her means, sacrifice and scale her lifestyle, and she leveraged the power of a strong work ethic along with a positive mindset to inch her way out of her situation into a different life. Now Lisa is a multi-millionaire, one of the most sought-after speakers and best-selling author, and she's a philanthropist. She travels all over the world through her business, motivating the masses, and she helps people to transform hardship and blocks into empowerment. As with any success story, there are mental, spiritual, and physical shifts that take place. The mental and spiritual shifts directly influence the physical ones. It's the things you begin saying when no one is listening, the mental chatter and the mantras that help you to turn negative thought cycles, change habits, and begin taking action and compounding in a positive direction. Here are some of the quotes from Lisa Nichols that have helped her to become a success and that have served many others along the way. So here's her quotes on love and relationships. She says, "You are enough. You were enough then, and you are your biggest cheerleader. It's your job, Lisa, to show the world how to treat you, and the better you treat you, the better the world will treat you. I would tell the 20-year-old Lisa, you don't have to prove anything. You wake up perfect in your imperfection. So she had to get comfortable in her own skin. And it's something we all have to do. We're not perfect, but we have to get comfortable and content with what we have. Whether whether we have bumps on our face, or whether we're short or tall, curly hair or straight hair, we have to find a sense of contentment with who we are, what we look like, and what our purpose is. And so she got to that point when she said, you are enough. You were enough then, and you are your biggest cheerleader. It's your job, Lisa, to show the world how to treat you. And the better you treat you, the better the world will treat you. I would tell the 20-year-old Lisa, you don't have to prove anything. You wake up perfect in your imperfection. So you wake up perfect in your imperfection. You don't have to transform. You don't have to get surgeries. You don't have to change anything. You have to find that sense of contentment within yourself. She said, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be joyful. You deserve to be celebrated. But in order to do that, you must fall madly in love with yourself. So what you have to face those things that maybe you feel are shortcomings, things you're disappointed with yourself about, things that maybe you feel you can't forgive yourself for. Maybe you let someone do something to you that you look back and you have regrets about it. You have to face all of those things, all of those self-limiting beliefs, all of those hurts, those things that you see when you look in the mirror, and the voice that you hear in your head. You have to address it head on and fall madly in love with yourself, because really it's hard for someone else to love you if you don't love yourself. And she says, while you're walking on your journey, some days you're going to have to take that walk alone. So not all the time are you going to have somebody who's going to be there with you. Sometimes you'll have to encourage yourself. Sometimes you'll have to speak positive into yourself and fill yourself with encouragement. So sometimes it could be books, it could be audiobooks, it could be just meditation, but you have to find a way to walk the walk alone, because you won't always have somebody to walk it with you. She says, being unapologetic means that I will be all of me. I will no longer shrink or compromise myself by playing small so others will not feel insecure in my presence. So sometimes people can feel intimidated by you. Sometimes they will talk bad about you. They will troll you. They will give you thumbs down on your videos and leave you bad comments. They'll address your products. They'll leave you bad reviews. They'll stop by your business and make a scene. They'll do all kinds of things, but you have to be unapologetic about who you are, and you have to be all of yourself and not shrink or compromise because of what other people are doing or saying or thinking. You have to be all of you. She says people are more comfortable with a familiar discomfort than they are with an unfamiliar new possibility. People are more comfortable with a familiar discomfort than they are with an unfamiliar possibility. So people are not comfortable with change. They're more comfortable to stay in a negative situation, whether that is in an abusive situation or whether that is having bad habits. It could be overweight or addicted to drugs, or people are more comfortable with their habit and with that familiar discomfort, even if they know that when they try the drugs, it causes their teeth to stain. It causes them to, they may be uncomfortable with the side effects, and it may have discomfort to them, but they'll be more comfortable with a familiar discomfort than to go into something new. So that's something just to be mindful of. As for her quotes on business, she says, the truth is that no matter where you started out in life, you have a choice between scarcity and abundance. So like I've said in a previous video, I've shown you two examples, Elon Musk and also Dean Graziosi, and now a third example, Lisa Nichols. All of these people didn't start from wealth. All of them started at a disadvantaged place. They were the underdog, and they chose to have abundance. They chose not to be in scarcity, and you have that choice too. So she says, be the one who decided to go for it. She also says, all of your success is on the other side of service. So serving other people is the path to success. Intent reveals desire. Action reveals commitment. Intent reveals desire, and action reveals commitment. And you have to really have both. You have to have intent, that desire, and you have to have the action and commitment. So she says, I went to the same training 42 times. Some folks would say, I've already learned that. But I wanted to be able to finish their sentences. I wanted to walk like you, talk like you, and then I want to embed me in it. So she was aspiring to mastery. And that's something that's really important, because as simple as the concept may be that you're trying to accomplish, maybe you're trying to wash the dishes, maybe you're trying to become a blogger, maybe you're trying to become an affiliate marketer, maybe you're trying to start whatever type of business you're trying to start. Most of the time, it's really simple daily practices that you have to do in order to increase the momentum of the growth in the business. And so many people think because it's simple to add links into a blog post that go to another site. It's simple to create a blog post and publish it on a website. It's simple to build a website. It's simple to learn another language. Like, most people will think because of the simplicity of the task that they've mastered it already after they hear how it works. But instead, it's not just the hearing how it works, it's taking the massive action. It's the repetition that makes it really embed deeply and change the habits that you have and change the compound effect. So she said she went to the same training 42 times so that she could finish their sentences. So that's how you achieve mastery, by repetition, by continuously feeding yourself with that new mentality, mindset, mantra, with whatever it is that you want to do. Practice, 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 and repetition. She says success leaves clues. She also says, and I'm sure she's not the only one that says that, but that's a quote that she has that, many people have verified. She says, I was willing to be a student first. So you don't want to start off trying to be a teacher. You want to start off being willing to be a student first. And she said, I wrote a check to myself every paycheck, and I made a challenge to myself to add 5% more on each check. So if you want to change a habit, like she was experiencing financial constraint, and she decided to get out of that financial constraint, she would start to write checks to herself. She would start to save her money, and she wrote a check every paycheck and made a challenge even more than that to add 5%. So challenge yourself. If you're trying to get out of the situation that you're in, find a milestone, find a task that you can do that's a baby step towards where you're trying to go, and challenge yourself. She says, I learned to live on $31,000. So she learned to live within her means. I'm not sure what her entire income was at that time, but she mentioned this because she had to downgrade from her normal lifestyle in order to move herself out of the situation she was in. She says, I went from a three bedroom, two bathroom house to a 1-bedroom. I skinnied down. We got to be inconvenienced sometimes. So this is all something to do with discipline. And when you realize that maybe you're overspending, or you're not being as careful as you could with your time, and you're not having as much discipline as you should. In order to get to the next level, in order to change your in order to change where you are, you usually have to skinny down and discipline yourself even more. Sometimes you have to sacrifice, and it may not feel good. In her scenario, she had 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So she may have had a comfortable living space, but she had to get rid of things probably. She had to share a room with her son. She may have made herself really uncomfortable. And it says we have to be inconvenienced sometimes. That's how it goes. If we want to get to the next level, sometimes we have to be willing to be inconvenienced. So she says, as far as her quotes on mindset and self-worth, she says, are you willing to do the things you don't want to do and say the things you don't want to say so that you can become the man or woman you've always known yourself to be? That's again about discipline. Sometimes you have to do what you don't want to and say what you don't want to as a sacrifice so that you can get to the next level. She says your whole life is a manifestation of the thoughts that go in your head. And so one thing is, there's all kinds of self-limiting beliefs that we have. Some of them are superficial and some of them are deep down, and we don't even realize it. But our whole life is a manifestation of those thoughts that go through our head. So it's best if you take some time, whether that's through meditation, whether you believe in prayer, whether you believe in reading scripture, or whether you believe in reading personal development. But it's important to take some time and to feed yourself with positive mantras and to feed yourself with something different, because it is the manifestation of our thoughts that manifests our life. You know, it's our thoughts that are in our head that manifest our life. And in order to change that, you have to change your thoughts, and you have to put some different seeds inside so you can change the blossoms that come out. She says there's freedom in being called crazy. There's freedom in not fitting in. There's freedom in that, because that means I can be me. So, you know, a lot of people are fearful of being noticed, or fearful of people saying bad things about them. But she says there's freedom in it all. There's freedom in being called crazy. There's freedom in not fitting in, because then you can really be yourself. You don't have to, if you face the fact that they'll call you crazy and you face the fact that you won't fit in, then that's a lot of people's what paralyzes them. She says, I'm not afraid of my story. My story is my fuel, not my fortress. She says, your life is your story. Write well, edit often. So edit that life. Don't. It's not set in stone. Write the story, do your best, make the best version of it, and keep going back and erase and re-record and change that story. Make it the best it could be. She says, I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to protect. I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to defend. Now who do I choose to be? So that's something that's good for you to look in the mirror and say. It's something that she committed to saying on a daily basis so she could forgive herself. And she said she would say to herself, she would go to the mirror, she would say, I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to protect. I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to defend. Now who do I choose to be? So you really choose who you are going to be. And you don't want to let your defensiveness about what everybody else says, or your concern about not being good enough and not being, you don't want everything external to you to decide who you're going to be. That's an internal decision. So go to the mirror and do what she did. Say, I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to protect, I have nothing to prove, and really let that go inside, deep down inside, and decide who are you going to choose to be, and make that an internal thing and not an external thing. That's really powerful. She said, I found 7 different things to celebrate myself for. I said every day, Lisa, I'm proud that you. Lisa, I forgive you for. Lisa, I commit to you that. And this was a part of her evolution to building her confidence and building her self-worth so that she could go out and really become the multi-millionaire she is today. You can't do the things that she's doing without a strong sense of confidence and without a strong sense of self-worth, because most people who don't have that self-worth, when it comes to charging for their services or charging for what they do, they get really concerned. Should I be asking for this much? Am I worth this much? And so you have to really work on your self-worth so that you can properly exchange value and participate in the marketplace in a fair way, fair to yourself and fair to other businesses. So she said every day she found 7 different things to celebrate herself for. And that's a really good practice, to find things that you can celebrate yourself for. And it also helps to build your confidence, because you can find things, you can even create tasks, like maybe you decide you're going to do 5 push-ups, and you can find a task to do and commit to it and follow through. And when you follow through and you start to deliver these promises and keep these promises to yourself, it starts to build your confidence higher and higher and higher. And then you can stay looking in the mirror at yourself. You can be proud of yourself. You can forgive yourself for things that you fell short of. You can commit to yourself what you're going to do in the future and not feel like, will I really? Because you have integrity within yourself. And that's huge for your confidence. She says, I am a work in progress. I am reinventing myself. So you don't have to be perfect, but you have to know that you're a work in progress. You're getting better. You're reinventing yourself. She said, comparison is and always will be the thief of all joy. So if you're busy looking at someone else's life and what someone else is doing and what they're doing well and what they're not doing well, that comparison could be the thief of your joy. Instead, if you focus on the milestones and the things that you can do, the inventory that you have, the things you're good at, and you keep working to maximize your own potential, it can really take the cap off of the joy that you have. She says, wherever your mind is, your lifestyle has to follow. So wherever your mind is, your lifestyle has to follow. So if your mind is in the dumps, your lifestyle will follow that. If your mind is focusing on other things, that's why they talk about vision boards and creating a board where you have all of your dreams laid out, or posting your goals on the wall, or posting a mantra that really enlightens you and inspires you, and changing your environment, playing music that really inspires you and takes you to a happy place. All of these things help to bring that joy and to change your lifestyle. She said, I looked at every toxic behavior in my life, every one. You see me go behind my own black curtain. So for her, and for everyone, a lot of times we like to deny things that we did before or things that we're really regretful of. But what she's saying is, don't just deny it and ignore it and dump it or bury it. Take it out and forgive yourself for it. Face it. As dark as it might be, cry if you need to. Let the emotions bubble up and go behind the black curtain and forgive yourself. So going back to that practice, she started saying, Lisa, I'm proud that you. Lisa, I forgive you for. Lisa, I commit to you that. All of these are processes or commitments to the evolution, and not staying behind that black curtain. So let's go into her quotes on success. She said, in order to live the life you love and love the life you live, you have to step on the other side of normal. So you can't look at what everyone else is doing and say, well, they're doing it. Well, they're doing it. You have to step on the other side of normal. You have to do more than what everyone else is doing, better than what everyone else is doing. You have to step on the other side. And it doesn't have to be where you're focused on a comparison, but you're focused on being the best version of yourself. And that means that you can't just settle by looking at what's normal. You're focused on being the best version of yourself, doing the best that you can do. She says, you are the designer of your destiny. You are the author of your story. So you have a lot of control, more control than you believe. And I do believe there are things that are outside of your control. Of course, there's natural disasters and there's, things that are outside of your control. But for the most part, you really have a lot of control of where your life is headed and where you're going and what direction you're going to go in, because you've been given willpower. So you've been given the power of choice. You've been given the power to influence. So you are the designer of your destiny. You are the author of your story. So she says your greatest fear is not that you will fall. Your greatest fear is that you will live a life and never fly. So your greatest fear is not that you will fall. Your greatest fear is that you will live a full life and never fly. So mediocrity is the greatest fear. Nobody wants to just be mediocre. Everybody wants to be the best, but not everybody takes the actions to make sure they're the best. So let's not let that be you, and I won't let that be me. Let's go as hard as we can and face our fears. She said, balance is a myth, harmony is a must. Balance is a myth, harmony is a must. So there's things where you try to balance them, like even work-life balance, balancing your family and balancing your business, balancing your professional desires. But she's saying instead of balance, look for harmony. How can all of these things unify so that I'm not torn in one different direction? I'm not trying to balance all of these plates. How can these harmonize together so I can be good on this side and I can be good on this side? So that's something to really ponder. She also says your past doesn't belong in your future. So your past is back there. You don't have to bring it up here. Because you can really, you're writing the story, you're editing your story, so your past doesn't dictate that. She says fear is not meant to stop you, it's meant to wake you up at night, preparing and prepping for your goals. So she uses fear as a driver instead of as a brake, and that's pretty awesome. So use fear as your gas pedal, not as your brake. She says, stop asking for permission. Stop asking for permission. Then she says, success to me is really living out my days, my months, my years, and having no regrets in any area of my life, particularly in my relationships. I said what I needed to say when I should have said it. I apologized sooner, quicker, faster. I said I love you more than enough. I forgave myself and others effortlessly. My relationships were bountiful. That's a beautiful definition. She says, success to me is not shrinking when I had an opportunity to play big, even if I was scared, that I took a leap of faith, not even knowing if my parachute was open. So that is bold. Bold, bold, bold. If you're scared and you need boldness, go take that quote and repeat that quote. I'll leave a link in the description box. You can stop by and check out all these quotes, because a lot of these are those quotes that you write down, you put in your purse and you keep pulling out throughout the day, or you put in your phone and you keep checking it throughout the day so you can really reconfigure your negative thought cycles. She says, success to me is living out my purpose, that ultimately, when my time is done, I will have lived every day writing the most amazing story. When I sit down to rest, I will be plumb tuckered out because I played full out. I won't take any extra energy with me. I will leave all my wisdom, all my nuggets. I will leave everything here to live and grow. That's a great aspiration. That's success to Lisa Nichols. She said, I still sit at the feet of seniors, so it's never too late. I mean, regardless of how much you've achieved, multi-millionaire, regardless of how much you've achieved, you still sit at the feet of people who have more wisdom than you, have more expertise than you, and learn. Always be a student. She says, don't count the number of times you've been knocked down, count the number of times you've come back up. So failure is bound to happen. It's a part of the process. But count the number of times you've come back up. Learn to be resilient. Bounce back. Be like a rubber band. Okay, so I also have a playlist with some really good interviews by Lisa Nichols, and you should definitely stop by How to Entrepreneur and check out this playlist that I've compiled. It's some of my favorite interviews that she's been in, and she gives a lot of nuggets and wisdom in these interviews, and so I think you should stop by and check them out. So my final words on Lisa Nichols. The goal of this video was to show some empowering quotes by Lisa Nichols on knowing your worth, on self-worth, business, and success. There's few people who have dedicated their entire lives on speaking the message of empowerment, but Lisa Nichols is one of those people. If you need a pick-me-up, stop by this article or check out some of my other success tips from the other successful entrepreneurs. I've done more videos. I did one on Elon Musk, one on Dean Graziosi, one on Marie Forleo, and I plan to continue doing videos like this because I believe it's really important to study successful entrepreneurs, the mentality, the mindset they have, the choices that they've made that help to propel their success, and by doing that, it helps to continue driving you closer and closer to where you want to go. If you have questions or concerns about anything I said in this video, then please leave those in the comment section below. I would love to help you out. And if you would like to learn how to start or grow a business, definitely stop by How to Entrepreneur and check out my free course. And now I want to know from you, do you have any favorite Lisa Nichols quotes? Do you have any quotes about self-worth that really stick out to you when you have times when you're having your ebbs and flows with your confidence, or when you get nervous, or when you feel like maybe, am I good enough? What are those quotes? What quotes empower you when you need to be picked up? Leave your comments below the video in the comment section, or stop by How to Entrepreneur and leave them on the bottom of this post. So that's all I have for this video. I hope it was really helpful for you. If you're watching this before Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. Tell your mom that you really appreciate her bringing you into this earth and allowing you to come and fulfill your purpose. And if you have a mom that was really sacrificial and in your life, make sure to really celebrate her. Make sure to really celebrate her. Moms really do a lot. And if you know moms that have really been powerful in your life, even if it's not your birth mom, just make sure to celebrate those women over on Mother's Day. So that's all I have for this video. Hopefully it was helpful for you. Hopefully it really inspired you and helps you to think bigger and helps you to work towards building your self-worth. It's a work in progress. We all have to constantly work on our confidence and protect it and make sure it's continuing to grow instead of shrinking. So if this was helpful for you, please leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe to this channel. and click the bell icon. Also, leave your comments. I would love to hear from you and network with you. And that's all I have for this video. Bye.